So the topic for today is functions. Okay.
Sir, which site is this? Okay, you're using Studio
I'm
Code.
using Visual Studio. So there are different questions that we need to address about functions. What are functions? Okay. Why use functions? How are functions
Sir,
written in Python? That is one of the questions, right? What are
yes,
okay? Let's create. Let's say create different functions and use them. Okay, so these are our action items for today. So what are functions? Why do you use functions? How are functions written in Python? Create different functions. Okay, and yes, some inbuilt functions. Okay, so some functions that come along with Python inbuilt, right? Any questions you want to ask before we start?
no, sir.
Okay. So what are functions? Functions, very simple language, very simple language. A bunch of statements bunched together, like a number of statements bunched together and given a name, right, is known as a function in programming. Very simple understanding is a number of statements when bunched together and put inside one container, and we give that container a name. So we can call that container anytime and use it. That is known as a function. Okay. What can be an example in real world? Let's say, what is an example? Let's say that you have a personal assistant, right? Let's say you are a businessman and you have a personal assistant, right? Now, there is some task that you do on a weekly basis. For example, let's say you take inventory. Okay, you have a shop. Okay, you have a kirana shop. Okay, you are Gupta, so you are Bania, right?
Uh, sir, I don't know.
You don't know. Okay, no problem. So let's assume that Sarthak Gupta means Bania, right? So Banias have shops, right? Banias and Marwadis have shops. So you have shop and not your personal assistant. Let's say you have a person working in your shop and you ask that person every week at the end of the week on Sunday to take inventory before he goes home, right? So now, if you don't explain to him what inventory is, right? Let's say that he is illiterate, right? He does not understand the meaning of the word inventory, right? So what you will have to tell them, you will have to tell him that, okay, go back into the go down, right? And or go back into the shop, right? And count all the items that are present in each category, right? For example, how many Horlicks bars are, how many Horlicks jars are present, how many let's say Good Day biscuits are present, right? Like that. Take the note in a paper, okay, and put the paper in like in a register or somewhere, and put the register inside my closet or somewhere, right? You will have to explain all these 3 steps every time you ask him to take inventory because he does not understand the word inventory, right? What if he understood the meaning of the word inventory? What would happen? You don't have to tell him 3 different steps. You don't need to tell him go back to the shop, check the items, put inside the register, and store the register inside a closet. No, you will just tell him take the inventory. Isn't that easier?
Yes, sir.
Even if you are somewhere else, like let's say you are out in a holiday to, let's say, Oslo in Norway, right? You will just call him up. I will say, Gopal, take inventory. Done. Inventory is taken. Right? That is what you can say a sort of a implementation of functions in real world, right? Instead of giving a bunch of statements, you just give one number, one name, the name of that task, and the whole thing will be done. Okay. What is the use of
Yes,
function?
sir.
Why use functions? The second point, why use functions? We already got why use functions, right? Because we don't want to give a
Yes, sir.
number of steps over and over again.
Yes, sir. So mainly functions are ones like if we teach a person something and then we can just apply the function.
Exactly. So we give the number of statements just once to that function and we give it a name. And we just call it later on again and again, right?
Yes, sir.
Why is it important to give a name? Very simple. If your parents didn't give you a name, how would I refer to you, right? How would I call you? Right now you have a name Sarthak. So how do I just say Sarthak? If you don't have a name, do you know how I can call you?
Yes, sir.
No, I won't know, right? I will have to find your coordinates, geographical coordinates, and then I will have to say the person standing on these coordinates talk to me. Okay. something like that. So let's create our function. Okay. So we have discussed first 2 points. How are functions written in Python? Very simple. Okay. So we write a word called def, which is you can consider a short form for definition. We are defining a
Yes,
function.
sir.
So def. Then you give the name to a function. Okay. So you say, let's say I want to calculate the, let's say I want to take the user's favorite web series. Okay. So I'll say web underscore series, right? Now, the functions always have opening and closing brackets, round brackets after it, after its name, right? Whether you're calling it, whether you're
Yes,
defining
sir.
it. And then you put colons like this, right? Colons means something on the, you will go to the next line and you will put something inside this function. Okay. So press enter. Now we'll put something inside this function, right? That is what a colon means, right? In Python. If you're writing in some other language, let's say C++, JavaScript or something else, you will not use colons, but you will use curly brackets. How? Something like this. That's a function. Right, if you're writing JavaScript, function web underscore series, opening closing round brackets, again functions have to be there, opening closing round brackets have to be there, and then curly brackets like this, right? But we are not writing in Python, JavaScript, we are writing in Python. So in Python there are no curly brackets, there are no semicolons, so we won't use curly brackets, we will use these colons. And you can see a space has been indented, right? I'm not writing here, no, I'm writing after the space.
Sir, can you just wait 1 minute? There's a call from downstairs. Gods.
Yes, please go ahead. So inside this, we will write our statement. So let's say, first of all, I just want to write one statement, and that statement is print, hello, I like binging web series. Okay, not web series. I like binging latest web series. Okay, so we have defined our function. Okay, now let's call, let's run this Python file. So I'll say py 22. I'll press tab and I'll run it, and you can see nothing has done. Why has not? Why is it not printed?
Yes, sir. So because we have not used def, I guess.
Because you have not used the function, or in right words, we have not called the function. So we'll call the function here like this, web underscore series. Okay, and we'll opening closing round brackets like this. Okay, and then let's call it again. And you can see it has printed, hello, I like binging latest web series, right? Which is true. Okay, so create different functions and use them. Okay, we have created one function, very simple function. Let's enhance this. Okay, let's enhance this a bit. Okay, so I have one question coming in. Yeah. फंक्शन जब भी कॉल होगा तो ही प्रिंट स्टेटमेंट एग्जीक्यूट होना चाहिए, राइट?
Yes, sir.
That's why we have written the print statement inside the function. So whatever statements are there inside the function, those will be called. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now what I need to do is I need to take from user a input. So I'll say your fave series. So your favorite web series. I'll say input, and please enter your favorite web series. Okay. Then he will enter his web series and it will be stored inside the variable your web series. Okay. And instead of printing hello, I like binging of series, we will check if your web series is equal to let's say flash, right? Print your favorite series is same as my favorite series. Okay. Else print that series is lame. Okay. So only if the series that user has entered is flash, right? We will print your web series is the same as my favorite web series is same as my favorite web series. Otherwise, we'll print your series is lame, whichever series is, right? So we have created a function which will, if we execute it, the execution point will directly go here, right? After this line, it will directly go here, and it will call this function, call this line. It will take the input, then it will compare that input with flash, and it print whatever is needed. So if I run this right now, and I write here flash like this, okay, Your favorite series is same as my favorite series. If I run it again and I say Game of Thrones, okay, that series is lame, right? So that is how a function works. You see, and how many times we call it, right? It will run that many times. So if I call it once more, if I copy this line, if I print it here again, okay, and I'll print one statement here like this, who's segregate those two, okay. So this time the web series function should
So
run two times.
So you have put these dashes in between. So underscore, I think. Sir, what do they do in Python?
Nothing.
What are they for?
They are nothing. They are for nothing. I'm just printing it here.
They are text. So they are text. They are the text you have written.
Normal text string. Okay. I'm writing it there so I can differentiate between my first web series iteration, second web series iteration. Okay. That's running. What is your favorite web series? Mirzapur. Okay. That series is lame, and now it has put a dash dash, and then it has run it again. What is your favorite web series, right? So we are calling that function over and over again, like it's the second time, right? I'll say Flash. Your favorite series is same as my favorite series, and then it stop because we just call it two times, right?
Yes.
Let's say, okay, let's keep it here. So let's not complicate it much further. Okay. So this is how you write basic functions, right? Now in this functions, you can return some data back from a function. Okay. So let's say you are doing some execution. Okay, and based on that, you can return some data back. So you can return. I'll say return true. That his series is favorite as my series, so I'll return true. He's a true fan. Okay. Otherwise, I'll return false. He's a false fan. Okay. What this return will do is, wherever we write this return, this function execution will stop there. It will terminate there, and the function value will be returned from the function to wherever it was being called. Right. So if we go through it, we say web series. It will take the input. It will compare it. If your favorite web series is equals to Flash, it will print this, and then it will return the data. It will return true. Function execution will terminate. Function will terminate at that point where it encounters a return statement. Okay, return means function is over. Return some data back. This true will be returned back here. So now instead of this web underscore series, true value is there. Okay, so that means if I print it, then I should get true, right? Because if we return true, and true is coming back here, then if I print this web series, then I should get true in the console log, right? In the console.
Yes.
Let's run it again.
If you write Flash, then you will get true.
Yes, otherwise you will get false. So I'll write Flash first. Okay, we got true. I'll run it again. If I say Black Mirror, okay, I'll get false, right? So that is how we can return values from a function based on our computations, right? So I'm computing something, right? I'm trying to do something. If I feel like I have like achieved my target, okay, return true. Otherwise, or we can return something else also. So let's say I have created a function for calculating the average marks of 5 students, right, in a particular subject. So I want to find the average marks of physics for 5 students. I'll calculate it and return it back. Okay. So let's do one thing. Let's remove all of this. Let's comment this thing out. Okay. And I'll write def average underscore marks like this. Okay. And this time I'll say marks is equals to, it is an list. Okay. It is an array. And I'll say marks of first student is 78, second student is 56, third student 78, 99, and 67, right? In a particular subject. So let's say physics. I'll write here physics. Okay. Physics underscore marks. Now what I need to do is I need to calculate its average, right? So obviously we know how to use for loops, right? What we will say for x in physics underscore marks, right? For x in physics underscore marks, so x will iterate through all the elements of physics underscore marks array, and each time it will be stored inside it, and we will say sum is equals to x sum plus x like this. Okay, and we'll create another variable here called sum. So before calculating average, we have to calculate the sum, because how do we calculate average? Sum of all the elements divided by number of elements. That is how average calculated, right?
Yes, sir.
So we took the sum of all the elements. Sum is equals to sum plus x. I initialize with 0 because in the starting it should be 0. Now what will I do? I'll say I'll create another variable. Average is equals to sum divided by 5 like this, and I'll print and I'll return average. Actually, not print. I'll return average like this. Okay. And I'll call this function here average marks. But now I should not call it here like just like this. I know that there is a integer value coming in, right? Or a decimal value coming in back to me. It is being returned from here, right? So if it is being returned, I should store it somewhere. So I'll say answer is equals to average underscore marks, and then I'll say print the average marks in physics is comma average. So sorry, result, right? Because it is stored inside answer. Stored inside answer. Right. Now these variables, physics underscore marks, sum and average, these are expired, right? Because they were present inside the function. As soon as the function stopped execution, these are removed from the memory. These are expired variables, right? If you refer to average directly here, it will not give you an answer because it is an expired variable. But if you say answer is equal to average marks, it will store the value inside answer. It will print it. Okay. Let's run it again. Average marks is 75.6. Okay. Handouts.
No, sir.
Okay.
So in this, I had one doubt.
Tell me.
Sir? Yes, sir. So in the for loop, when you put for x in physics marks, so sir, x will become physics marks over here.
X will what X will do is X will go on each element of physics marks array. Okay. So first of all, X will be assigned the value first value 78. Okay.
Yeah.
Then this loop will run. Then once the loop is over, that iteration is over, it will go to the second value. X will be assigned the value 56. Then this value will be printed. Then this will again run, right? Then it will go to 78 again, third element. Then this will again run. Then 99. Then this will run, and then 67. Then it will run. Then it will see that all the elements have been visited once. Now the for loop will execute, like its execution will terminate. Okay, it will be over, and then we'll go to the next line, which is 20, and we will run these two statements also. Okay. If you want to like use the for loops in a different way, right? So instead of a for loop, you can use a while loop. So I'll remove this. I'll say I equal to 0, right? While I is less than 5, sum is equals to physics underscore marks of I plus sum, and I is equals to I plus 1. Normal iteration method, right? We created a variable, we iterated through all the elements like this. But this is, as you can see, it is already more complex. Instead of 2 simple lines, we have 4 sort of complex lines, right? So that is the use of Python. In Python, this is very helpful. Okay.
Okay.
So this is one of the things. In the first one, we saw how to create a function, how to return the value. In this, we saw how to store the returned value in a variable and use it later on. Now, in the third example, we will see how to pass some data to the function. Right now, we are not passing any values to the function, right? We are just, what we are doing is, we are directly executing the function. So I'll create a variable function here, def. I will name it, let's say, vowel. Okay. And inside this vowel function, I will pass a character. Okay. So I'll pass a character like this. Okay. And I have to check whether this character is a vowel or not. So I'll say if character, you can see whatever the data I am passing inside the function, I've put it inside the round brackets. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So whichever value you want to access inside a function, or whichever value you want to pass to the function, you pass it as a parameter to the function, right? Which is
So what does this vowel do?
Vowel is the name of the function. Def,
okay,
name of the function, and then the data that you want to pass to the function. So I want to pass a character to the function. So I just written a variable here named character, right?
Yeah.
Now inside this, I'll check if character is equal to a, or character is equal to e, or character is equal to I. or character is equal to O, or character is equal to U. If and then colon at the end, don't forget that colon at the end, right? If any of this is true, we will say return. Let's say this time let's return a string value. You passed a vowel. Else return you passed. Let's say what you passed was not a vowel. Okay, like this. And then I'll call this function here. Okay, I'll say result is equals to vowel. I'll pass A in the starting. Okay, and I'll print result, whatever result we get back, and then I'll pass it again. This time I'll pass C, and I'll print result again. Any doubts in this? What this function is doing before we run it?
No, sir, but if you have defined after vowel, so it will matter with the E. If a person writes E and you have defined result vowel brackets A, so if we write A, then only it will show you past the vowel.
No, I didn't get you. Okay, this, yeah. So
sir,
A, E, I, O, or U, right? Any one of the vowels you have to pass, right? It is expecting a character from you, or it is expecting some value from you inside the function. It is expecting, the function is saying, give me some value, right? Only then I will work, otherwise I will not work, right? So we are passing that value inside of it, a single character, like this. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Any other doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. Let's run this. So, and you can see you passed a vowel first time, and then what you passed was not a vowel. So in this case, we got you passed a vowel, and in this case, we got what you passed is not a vowel, right? Because this is not a vowel, obviously, right? So that is how it is working. That
Yes,
is
sir.
how you can pass data to the variable. So we looked at how to pass data to the variable. How to pass data to the function. Okay, how to return data from the function we use it later on, and how to define a function, right? You can return any sort of value. So here you can see we returned a true or false in this function, right? In this function, we actually returned a decimal value, but in the last function, we returned a string, a text, right?
Yes, sir.
Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay, let's uncomment all of this. Okay, but first line has to still be commented like this. Okay, and this is our code. I'll put this on GitHub. Okay, I'll provide you the link. You can access the link of GitHub repository. Okay, and you can check that code from here also. So what can be a practice assignment for this, right? A practice assignment can be this. You will take.
Actually, sir, I wanted to.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, can I share my screen?
Yes, you can.